Thought I'd lost you there. Not quite time to go yet. I'm not finished with you yet. Not too much longer though. Just take a moment, catch your breath. Wipe that tear from your eye. You look done in. Right. Now I have your attention once more, we can continue our audience together. Worth. A little word, yet so important. What is worth? What is my worth to you? What was my worth? Has my worth changed? I think it has. I think when you first set your eyes upon me, I had very little worth to you. In fact, I'd say none at all. A look of scorn, a pissy look. A bow down into the shite and let me walk across your back sort of a look. A nothing, a nobody, a less than shite, no? How do I not have your full attention? Now, not nothing. Now somebody. And you certainly are somebody, aren't you? All know you across these lands and they bow down, don't they? And God save those who don't. Look around. You have everything here. Well, you had everything. More than anyone could ever need, but you just couldn't be happy with that now, could you? And the way you look at it, what you don't have, what others have, you take. You stamp your little foot until you get what you want, and when you stamp, your soldiers jump. Bet you stamp for the fun of it. Or you take for the fun of it. Don't you? From strangers, comrades, even kin. The weak and the vulnerable, helpless victims, victims of you. And I'm a victim of you. You took from me. You know that, don't you? My goodness, you don't even know. Was it for land? Livestock? Coin? Heart. My heart. You took my heart, cut it up into pieces and burnt it. Did you know that? Did you know what you did? Do you even care? Take a heart that could never belong to you. Is that why you took it? Stamping your little foot. My heart belonged to my family, my children, my husband. You took my husband. You took their dad, you took our scrapper, and by taking him, you took our hearts, Once happy hearts, warm hearts, beating hearts, full of blood and love, all gone, and for what? Money? Power? You stamped your little foot, they laid their trap, lured him in, my scrapper. He thought it was an honest deal with a noble man. That he'd made a deal with the devil. Look into my eyes. Take a closer look. Can you see the fire? The fire that spurs me, keeps me going for my children and for him. Another small word, but such a powerful word. Fire. The founding memory, burned into my skull as my birth city and its people are burnt at the hands of dear King Henry. Another who liked to stamp his foot. Everything gone, home, family. And there's me, a young girl of no older than 7, wandering the ashes all alone, moved along, pushed aside. Worth? Less than worth. Worth less. Days, weeks passed till time lost its way, searching my burned Edinburgh, hoping for something, someone. And then, through the ashes and the smoke, came a stranger. A lady with a kind face and a smile filled with gold. She welcomed me under her wing, a mother of sorts, for a short while. She kept me fed, safe, called me as her own, but little did I know, she was fattening me up for a sale. Passed me on to a cruel man for the price of a pig. Worth? To that cruel man, I was just a different cut of meat. Oh, and he treated me worse than any swine, by day and by night. Until one night, while he slept through a belly full of whiskey, I set about his hands and throat with a pair of shears. He will never lay another finger. I took his many jewelled rings, hid them in an old oak, fearing their possession would lead me to the noose. Well, I ran and ran, for how long I do not know, overfell through stream, bones frozen with cold and fear. And then, through the mist, the sound of singing, the warmth of a fire, the smell of breads and sweet meats drawing me in. A circle of beautifully painted caravans, surrounded by beautifully painted people, calling out to me as if they knew I was there, hiding in the bushes, calling out to me, welcoming me in, offering me food and shelter and warmth and love. And after a while, I became one of them. Kin. Heart. From girl to woman. So happy. And in love of life, I thought my heart was full to the brim. Little did I know, it was about to overflow. I first laid eyes on him at Appleby Fair. Huge, handsome beast with shoulder-length golden hair. A crowd had gathered around to watch him fight a man twice his size, and as he danced a circle with his fists clenched, I caught his glance. His eyes smiled at me, and he was knocked into the mud. My scrapper. Dizzy and breathless like a dream. If this man was a witch, he had cast his spell, and I was truly smitten to this fighting man. Within a month, we were married. A gypsy wedding in all its splendour, with rings on our fingers and bells on our toes. And within a year, we two became 3, then 4, and then 5. So much worth to each other. My love, he built me a bonny bower and clad it o'er with lily flower. A a bonnier bower you ne'er did see, that my true love he built for me. A little piece of heaven where we grew children and potatoes. Potatoes in marketplaces is where my man would fight. My prize fighter. A famous fighting man, taking on brutes and bruisers, often blackened and battered for a purse of coin. But his dream was the life of a quiet man, with land and livestock and me and his bairns around him. Then came the day, bringing him home from victory in Berwick, fat-lipped, but bursting with joy. He'd come across the deal he had been waiting for. A dozen cattle for a bargain, almost a steal, he said, with an honourable man to the northwest. So he thought. There came a man by middle day. He spied his sport and went away. To Selkirk he set with coin and companion in tow, ready to settle the deal and bring home the beasts. No longer a fighter, but a farmer. Little he knew. A set-up, no less, a trap. Not cattle in wait on those hills, but men with murder in mind. Men who had been given instruction for a cut of my man's purse and a welcome into a bigger, more powerful family. Your family. Oh, and what a powerful family you've become. Crawling out from the pond, strutting in your feathers and furs. Powers beyond the throne, why, even our queen has given you a title. A noble man. Nothing noble about my man's death. Never given a chance to fight back. Shot to bits and thrown in a ditch. His companion who fled returned to the crime to bring my prince's broken body back to me. Then brought the king that very night, who broke my bower and slew my knight. Dizzy and breathless, like the first time I set eyes on him, only this time, a sickness, a plague. My cries would have woken the buried for miles. I wailed for death to take me. Except for my bairns, I would have taken my life then and there. Like him, I too was broken, poisoned by grief, almost unable to stand. I sewed his shroud, making my moan. I watched his corpse myself alone. I watched his body night and day. His travelling families came from all corners to grieve alongside me. Our home was circled by those beautifully painted caravans, only this time the folk were dressed as ravens, furied with a thirst for revenge. Questions were asked, interrogations given, but no answer came to who was responsible for his brutal taking. I hadn't found you out yet. The night before his burial, an ancient woman, a charmed lady, paid visit. She had travelled for days to find me after a visitation. Together we sat with him. We bathed him in oils and ointments. She gave incantation and we held his hands. She spoke to him as if he was still with us. And suddenly his eyes sparked for a second, and together we saw a face. The last thing he saw. The face was filled with warts like a toad, and the face was laughing. She gave me potion. And it was then my sorrow turned to wrath, and I saw the path I was to follow. That wrath picked me up from the ground, spun me round and round, travelled me back to a tree I had not seen since I was a girl, where sat the rings from the fingers of a monster. I would use those rings to hunt that toad. The rings had worth, and in their selling, so too now had I worth. I could have used that hefty purse, made a new life far away, but no. I could not rest until my husband's murderers were food for the maggots, beginning with that laughing toad. But I am but one, and across these lands strength comes in numbers. Ally. Another small word, but so strong when you have it. The family Ritchie, headed by the strongest woman I've ever seen. She too has suffered much, losing both husband and 3 sons through skirmish and murder. She heard of my misery, called out to me. I went to her in her tall tower. She listened with great understanding, and together we wept for each's losses. She held out her hand and spoke. I was once broken as you are now, wished for the Lord to take me from this place, even tried to take myself, but I saw what I had rather than what I had lost. Your heart tells you different, I can see. It's shaken, but it's not broke. I know you can't see that now. Time. Then you need to make claim, take back. You need to pull the spider from its web, and the way you do that is you pull the web apart. I told her I wasn't hunting a spider, but a great fat toad. Both spiders and toads feed on flies. The Lady Reaver set her flies far and wide. Then I was sent for to return to the Lady Reaver's tower, and there, in her grand hall, surrounded by the skulls and horns of slain beasts, strapped to a table, was that very warty face I had seen in my man's eyes. Only this time, he wasn't laughing. They found him drunk and slavering over a poor girl in a tavern in Jedburgh. Dragged him by horse to that place. He was asked for names, to which he was not forthcoming, and the wrath took hold. Snip. His name was Pringle. Snip, snip. He had a wife and children. Snip, snip, snip. They would all die if he spoke. Snip, snip. In the end, he gave us names. And what a collection of names we had. So much for loyalty. Moffat, Beatty, Archibald, Crow, each dragged before me and tended to like rose bushes. Snip, snip, snip. And how they all screamed. And finally came forth a name. Big name, famous name, your name. And everything fell into place. I saw that face again. Oh, we'd met before. Kelsall Market, years before. You don't remember? You propositioned my scrapper to take a fall to one of your fighters. He refused you, but you just couldn't take no. So you turned your attention to me. You became crude. He didn't like that. It became heated. Again, you proposed. Again, he refused you. You stamped your little foot, had your bully boys wreck our stall, trample our crop. You sneered while they did it. We were nothing. We were nobody, less than shit on your boot. Well, that boot is on my foot now. We have found your web and we are burning it out with allies bought and from Lady Ritchie. And all your horses and all your men paid off, chased away, nailed to your walls. And here we are, in your web, great big spider. Now, if I had a heart, my heart might feel pity, compassion, humanity, allow you to run disgraced and pathetic. But unlike Lady Ritchie, my heart is gone. You saw to that. Look again. One more time. Fire that makes me see and feel nothing other than hate, wrath, pain. And I know that cutting this big spider's legs off will not make that pain go away. But it will make me stronger. And I need to be stronger for my kin. I will teach them to be fierce and feared, for they need that to survive beyond these walls. For out there, it's cruel and unfair. There is no room for heart. So, take one last look. All that was yours now is mine. What your family were, now mine will be. And I know that even with all this around us, this wealth, this power, I'll never regain what I have lost. Worth. A little word, yet so important. Wrath. A little word, yet so important. No living man I'll love again, now that my lovely knight is slain. With just one lock of his yellow hair, I'll chain my heart forevermore.
My love, he built me a bonny bower, and he clad it all with a lily flower. A braver bower ye ne'er did see than my true love he built for me. There came a man by middle his sport and went away and brought the gift.